讓一讓俾後邊嘅行家嚇，唔該。前面要再踎低啲喎，唔該。
呢兩個大佬隻手啊！
呢個未啊？多嘅未啊？
你認下呢個
前面再踎低啲得唔得啊？前面仲係遮嘅喎。
前面戴帽嗰位行家可能要上踎低啲，後邊會影到。
喂，冇飛機啊！哥啊，你影夠啦係嘛？
中間影到差唔多啦，我哋請台上嘉賓望一望左手邊，即係我呢邊。亦都請望一望右手邊。好，合照嘅時間嚟到呢度嘅，咁行政會議成員咧就會先返回行政會議廳咧，就準備開會。咁我哋先請後排嘅嘉賓咧先行離場嘅，請後排嘅嘉賓。跟住亦都請前排嘅嘉賓咧就離場嘅，咁亦都請特首同埋葉太咧留一留步，同大家講幾句。行政長官咧會先同大家有個簡短嘅發言啦，然後葉太亦都會同大家有個發言㗎，之後會回答大家嘅提問。有請行政長官。
大家早晨，好多謝各位記者朋友。今日係政府舉行第一次行政會議，我利用今日嘅機會咧，同3位司長以及16位非官守嘅行政會議議員咧，係同大家見面。行政會議嘅成員咧係對行政長官作出決策嘅時候咧提供意見嘅。行政會議去幫助行政長官作決定咧係非常重要。而根據基本法，我亦都會當我作重要嘅決定，又或者提交草案俾立法會、制定附屬法例等等咧，都會去徵詢行政會議成員嘅意見，而作出決定。所以我非常感謝16位非官守議員呢，佢接受我嘅邀請，成為行政會議嘅成員。佢哋都來自不同嘅背景，有豐富嘅經驗，去幫助我作決定呢係好重要嘅。我亦都非常感謝葉劉淑儀女士，佢接受我嘅邀請去出任行政會議嘅召集人。葉太係行政同埋從政嘅經驗咧都係豐富嘅，佢亦都熟悉政府嘅運作，對社會嘅事務亦都非常關心。我好有信心，葉太喺履行召集人嘅職責方面咧，係會做得好有成效，特別係為香港發聲，講好香港嘅故事。我亦都感謝葉太呢方面嘅承擔。咁跟住我請葉太同大家講幾句説話。請葉
太。各位早晨。
Good morning.
首先係再次多謝行政長官委任我做
the Chief Executive once again for appointing me as the convener of the new EXCO, as pointed out by the Chief Executive.
16位非官守成員呢係有豐富經驗，佢哋來自立法、法律、醫療、金融各方面都係非常資深嘅專家。我哋被委任係以個人身份 有責任向行政長官提出最佳嘅意見嘅。咁我哋咧係非常團結，同埋已經開動㗎啦。咁我哋向行政長官承諾，未來5年咧一定盡我哋嘅能力向你提出最佳嘅意見，配合你嘅工作。相信喺我哋通力合作同你嘅領導之下咧，香港一定會有更好嘅發揮。多謝各位。
多謝葉太。
跟住落嚟咧係提問嘅時間啦，咁啊請陣間有意發問嘅記者咧舉手示意，嗌到你之後咧就請你先介紹自己代表邊個傳媒機構，亦都請你用我哋提供嘅咪去發問啦。每一位嘅提問咧就不多於2題嘅。首先右手邊前排紅色衫女記者。
This lady reporter in red in the front.
Hi, thank you, Mr. Lee. This is Kari from Bloomberg. You and President Xi have repeatedly stressed that Hong Kong needs to remain an international connector, yet it's increasingly hard to come into Hong Kong with the quarantine hotels at max capacity and flights repeatedly being cancelled. What is your solution for addressing these issues? And also, you've also mentioned on Sunday that you're worried about the daily cases rising. What measures may you take to control this, including social distancing measures, and are you contemplating a 5-day cut in quarantine, cutting the quarantine to 5 days? Thank you.
Hong Kong is an international city, and we know that we have been suffering from the attack of the pandemic in such a way that a lot of activities have been affected. I'm conscious of the need for Hong Kong to remain open and convenient to travelers. But it is also important that we address the risk at the same time so that we will maintain a good balance. I have already asked the Secretary for Health to look at the evidence and statistics to see how we can, while on the one hand contain the spread of the pandemic, and at the same time reduce the inconvenience to travelers. One of the areas that he's looking at is how the duration of quarantine should be handled. So I am giving him time to look at the statistics so that he will formulate some options for me to consider. The second thing is we must continue to keep the pandemic under control, because if the figures goes up, then consequentially, by ratio, there will be a higher rate of people getting into hospital, which will mean that the hospital service will be affected, even if it may still maintain emergency services, but it will affect other services to people in need, particularly those who require consistent and persistent treatment. So it is important that we strike a balance so that we reduce the inconvenience to people who are not infected. So it is important to find a good method based on science and evidence to reduce inconvenience to people who should be allowed to go about their normal activities once we have identified to be people who are not infected. Another point I would like the Secretary for Health to look into is to ensure people who face higher risks of getting infected and also getting into potentially serious illness, we need to protect them well. So one of the important measures is to make good use of the PCR test so that we can be certain that we will be able to identify those who are infected early, separate them so that they will not be spreading the virus to other people. I know that people are very concerned about the measures that will be taken, but I can tell you that the Secretary for Health is very actively looking at the measures to reduce inconvenience and at the same time ensuring good protection of people who may face a high risk.
下一位提問。
Next question.
右手邊前排中間藍色恤
This
衫。
reporter at the right.
你好，特首 TVB 鍾卓希，想先問一問咧關於公務員嘅薪酬方面，其實你自己個人認唔認同公務員高級公務員應該係按建議加人工7%？要提高治理水平，公務員係咪應該有更加清晰嘅一個賞罰制度，甚至喺升遷或者加人工方面係咪應該有KPI 掛鈎？點樣平衡公務員士氣同埋呢個社會期望工作觀感？另外想問一問咧，就係關於喺房屋方面，早前咧你喺我哋嘅講清講楚節目當中提到，希望咧6.1年嘅公屋輪候時間咧就停落嚟，再之後咧就希望實現。有意見咧就認為呢個目標咧就唔夠快，你自己認唔認同咧？喺解決劏房同埋籠問題上，你初步有啲咩方向同目標？
喺我哋去討論公務員嘅表現咧，首先我哋係應該對公務員嘅表現咧講一啲公道嘅説話先。公務員嘅表現咧同政府嘅效率咧係直接係掛鈎嘅，而我哋睇到咧喺一啲世界嘅獨立報告，例如最近嘅世界競爭力年報裏邊咧，都係將香港嘅政府效率咧係排喺第一或者第二嘅呢幾年裏面。咁證明咧，整體嚟講，公務員喺運作方面令到政府嘅效率係獲得世界公認係排第一或者排第二。咁有陣時點解有一啲表現咧同市民或者期望有落差咧？咁我哋必須要睇下個原因係乜嘅。會唔會係因為程序上邊嘅一啲繁瑣，又或者資源方面嘅不足，又或者會唔會係部門之間嘅配合等等嘅？咁所以我強調咧，團隊精神裏邊有一個最重要角色嘅咧，就係個領袖。如果個領導嘅官員咧喺問題出現嘅時候主動介入，咁喺統籌方面做好啲，喺嗰個方向方面做好啲，以及咧喺個權責方面咧係做好啲咧，咁好盡心盡力嘅公務員去做嘅事情嘅時候咧，就當然係達到預期嘅效果。我亦都希望咧喺我哋喺執行方面咧係做到啲成績出嚟咧，係令到大家知道整體嚟講公務員嘅努力係喺會工作裏邊，因為我哋整體嘅管理成效係提升咗咧，而達到我哋嘅希望嘅效果嘅，呢個第一點。第二點咧就係喺當然喺如果某一啲個別嘅公務員佢喺能力方面係做唔到，咁我哋要幫佢咧。如果係涉及一啲我哋喺程序方面實際我哋嘅一啲規矩去處理佢啦。當然公務員制度都會有適當嘅處理方法。另外喺房屋方面咧，係大家都關心，亦都係因為呢個原因咧，我喺競選嘅政綱裏邊咧，其中一個綱領咧係專題係講房屋供應嘅。我去提及呢個問題咧，係正正係話俾社會聽，我係非常重視房屋問題。而房屋問題，我哋大家都知道係多年困擾住香港嘅。每一屆嘅政府咧都係好努力，希望解決呢方面問題。咁所以我會同我團隊咧會係全力以赴去解決呢個問題，但係亦都會好務實咁知道呢一個問題咧係涉及好多深層次嘅問題，亦都有好多咧係因為程序或者法律，又或者實際嘅情況係需要長時間咧先至可以解決到。咁所以喺房屋供應咧係會有啲短、中或者長需要處理嘅問題。如果喺短期可以處理到嘅，當然我哋會盡快處理啦。咁所以我係成立兩個工作組咧喺政綱嗰度已經提過咧，一個係專為公營房屋嘅，呢個組咧係以行動為目標嘅。亦都喺100日咧 交代俾我哋睇得到。而另外一個工作組咧係講統籌，統籌係講緊土地由生地建設嘅由熟地之後建房屋整個流程。而家大家都知道整個流程咧好多時咧係超過10年，有啲係更長嘅。咁我好相信咧，經過我哋全體嘅人員努力咧，將個速度、將個量同埋效咧去提升咧，係會解決到一部分問題嘅。但我係務實嘅，我唔係口號式嘅一個行政長官，所以我係會好坦誠咁話俾大家聽，我哋問題所在喺邊度？因為問題存在係應該讓大家都知道，但係政府嘅態度係當見到問題嘅時候，去勇於面對嘗試解決嗰個問題，兼且咧亦都將解決方法讓大家知道。咁呢個咧，我覺得係真正解決問題嘅態度，而且係經過呢個方法咧，我哋好可能咧找到一啲新方法。所以呢方面咧，我會承諾俾大家聽，我會努力嘅。
由於時間關係咧，我哋答多一位提問㗎。左手邊前排中間女記者。
你好咧，有線嘅第一條咧，想問咧，23條立法啦，你提到啦，時間並非最急切嘅考慮啦，係咪想暫緩23條立法咧？上任嘅第一年會唔會做咧？今屆內會唔會完成咧？另外都想問翻公務員加薪嘅，今日行會咧係咪會討論公務員加薪咧？外界都認為咧加幅比較高啦，咁你認為咧係咪應該跟晒薪酬調查委員會嘅加幅，定係要調低啲咧？第三條想問
兩個問題唔該你。
首先咧就行會去討論任何事項咧，我哋係不會公開，呢個係我哋一向大家講嘅規則嚟嘅。另外咧喺23條立法方面嘅考慮咧，第一我哋有憲制責任去立23條所要求我哋做嘅本地立法工作。第二樣咧喺香港國安法咧，亦都要求我哋盡早立法。我哋係會盡早立法，但喺盡早立法嘅原則之下咧，都要考慮咧我哋立出嚟嘅法律咧，是否真正可以處理到我哋所估計到嘅最嚴重嘅國家安全風險。我亦都多次講，我希望立呢個法嘅時候咧，佢係管用，可以處理到我哋預期嘅所有問題，唔希望再有任何修改。所以呢個認真同埋謹慎嘅態度咧，係要求我哋係做全面嘅法律研究。而喺近期咧，不同嘅國家咧都有一啲新嘅措施去保障佢哋嘅國家安全嘅。我亦都覺得係應該好值得參考。尤其咧係有涉及有一個嘅司法管轄區咧係用普通法嘅，咁佢所提出嘅某啲措施咧，我睇過咧係好嚴厲嘅。咁當然我哋去考慮去採取乜嘢嘅參考咧，我哋係審視不同國家，而按住實際情況係針對香港嘅實際國家安全風險，以及現時國家喺整體嘅國際形勢之下，我哋去判斷我哋需要面對邊一啲方面咧，從而係做一個完善嘅立法工作嘅。我亦都非常有信心咧，今次我哋對呢方面嘅工作咧，可以做到係到位嘅。尤其是大家都知道，我有葉太作為我嘅行會負責人咧，喺呢方面咧，我哋大家都會好認真去討論有關方面嘅一啲立法需要嘅。好嘛，多謝大家。
多謝大家。
Thank you very much. Thank you.